Welcome back. So Brad, we're to the last segment of ITIL, continual service improvement. And how cool is that? You know, at the end of the day, they say, you know what, you've designed this, you're in operation, you're in strategy, all this stuff's working good, but you've always got to be improving. And they've actually come up with some scientific ways to accomplish that. The first thing they account for is a register. And you'll see that all the way through ITIL everywhere. Hey, you got to keep up with stuff. You need a spot to keep up with what you're trying to improve. The next thing I think is really cool, it's called the Deming cycle. And it's an acronym, PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. And it was made popular by Dr. Edwards Deming, who's considered by many, you know, the father of modern quality control. And you know, it's just a proven concept to continually improve.
Yeah, and you know, and so when you're trying to do that, I mean, obviously it's important to look at what metrics are we going to look at to tell us if we're doing well or not, or basically able to improve, and who's got ownership of those categories, and how often are we going to look, and you know, one of the last things I know that's in that phase that's really interesting is when you look at the authority matrix. So basically you're saying, okay, so for all these things and for basically this phase and this process, like basically who's got complete ownership, you know, who's responsible and can basically make changes to it or recommend changes to it, and things like that. You know, who needs to be consulted when you're doing those kinds of things, and who just needs to be informed, right? You don't have any authority to make changes or anything like that, but who needs to be informed when we make changes to the process?
You know, I think that wraps it up, to be honest with you. That last segment cannot be understated, though. Lots of failures in these things are due to, hey, who was supposed to do that? Who had ownership of that? I mean, you gave that to do to a committee, or there's lots of technicians or technical resources available. So, you know, I really think if you implement these 5 ITIL segments, man, it can make a huge difference. And I think that wraps us up with continual service improvement.
Yeah.